The rooftop venue smelled like overpriced florals and regret. Mia adjusted the spaghetti straps of her emerald slip dress, the one she'd found at a thrift store for $20 that rode up every time she moved. The fabric clung to her in all the wrong places against the city skyline backdrop, fairy lights strung between metal beams like some Pinterest fever dream. She wasn't supposed to be here. The invitation had been a half-hearted text from a college acquaintance she barely remembered. But free food was free food, and her apartment felt too small lately, too full of memories she couldn't throw away. The other guests looked like they'd stepped out of an influencer's mood board. Designer cocktail dresses, tailored blazers, watches that cost more than her rent. Mia grabbed a glass of champagne from a passing server and found a corner near the railing where the music wasn't so loud. That's when she saw him. He stood by the bar in a charcoal suit that probably cost someone's monthly salary, crisp white shirt unbuttoned at the collar, no tie. His dark hair was styled but messy, like he'd been running his hands through it. But it was his eyes that stopped her. Empty. Like someone had scooped out everything that mattered and left just the shell. He caught her staring. Held her gaze for 3 seconds too long. Then he walked straight toward her. Mia's heart did something stupid in her chest. She looked away, pretended to be fascinated by the downtown skyline, but she could feel him getting closer, cutting through the crowd like none of them existed. You look like you'd rather be literally anywhere else. His voice was low, rough around the edges. Up close, she could see the exhaustion carved into his features, the barely there stubble, the way his jaw clenched like he was holding back something that wanted to break free. That obvious? Mia said, trying to sound casual while her pulse hammered. Only to someone who feels the same. He leaned against the railing beside her, close enough that she caught his scent. Expensive cologne mixed with whiskey and something darker, something she couldn't name. I'm Mia. Kai. The name triggered something. 2 women nearby stopped mid-conversation, their eyes going wide. One of them grabbed her friend's arm and whispered loudly enough for Mia to hear, "Oh my God, that's Kai Zhang. I thought he left the city after everything that happened with his startup." Mia glanced at him. Kai's expression had gone blank, a mask sliding into place. "After what happened?" she asked softly. "Does it matter?" "Maybe. Maybe not." Something flickered in his eyes. Something that looked like hope dying in real time. Before he could respond, someone called his name. A woman in a white reception dress, the bride, pushing through the crowd with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Kai. I need to talk to you. Now." "I'm good here, Sienna." The bride's smile sharpened. "It's about the investment. About what you took from me." The air between them turned to ice. Kai stood frozen, every muscle in his body tense. Mia could see his hands shaking slightly at his sides. 5 minutes, Sienna said, her voice sugar-coated poison. "Unless you want me to tell everyone here exactly who you really are." Kai looked at Mia with something desperate in his eyes. "Don't leave. Please." Then he followed the bride through the crowd, disappearing into the venue's interior, leaving Mia alone with a half-empty glass of champagne and a feeling like she'd just stepped into something she couldn't walk away from. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. The text made her blood run cold. "You have no idea who you're talking to. Leave while you still can." Mia stared at the text message, her thumb hovering over the delete button. Around her, the wedding continued like nothing had fractured. Laughter. Clinking glasses. A DJ spinning something upbeat and hollow. 20 minutes passed. Then 40. She should leave. Every rational part of her brain screamed at her to leave. But she stayed. When Kai finally emerged from inside, he looked like he'd been through a war. His suit jacket was gone, shirt sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing forearms marked with faded scars she hadn't noticed before. His eyes found hers across the rooftop, and the relief that flashed across his face was so raw it hurt to witness. He dropped into the chair beside her and reached for her champagne glass, draining it in one desperate gulp. "You stayed. You asked me to. I shouldn't have." He set the glass down, hands shaking harder now. "You should run. Like, right now. Before this gets worse." Mia turned to face him fully, studying the cracks in his composure. "What did she say to you? You want the real story?" His laugh was sharp, bitter. "I'm not some mysterious stranger having a bad night. I'm a fraud. 6 months ago, I convinced investors to pour millions into a tech startup that never existed. Sienna was one of them. Her family's money. All of it. Gone." The words hung between them like shattered glass. "Why?" Mia's voice was barely a whisper. "Because my sister needed treatment. Experimental. Not covered by insurance. I told myself I'd pay them back, that I'd make it real, that I'd fix it before anyone noticed." His eyes were wild now, desperate. "But she died anyway. And now I have nothing except debt and people who want me in prison." Mia's chest tightened. She should be scared. Should be calling someone, doing something, anything except sitting here. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you're still here. Because you look at me like I'm human instead of a headline." He turned to face her, and the vulnerability in his expression made her ache. "What's your damage, Mia? Nobody shows up to a wedding alone looking that sad without a reason." She hesitated. The truth felt too heavy to speak out loud. But something about this moment, about him, made her want to break. "I lost my best friend 8 months ago. Car accident. I was supposed to be in the car with her but I bailed last minute because of some stupid argument I can't even remember now." The words tumbled out faster. "This wedding? The bride was her roommate. I came because I thought it would make me feel close to her again. But it just makes everything worse." Kai reached out slowly, like approaching something wild that might run. His fingers brushed hers. The touch was electric. "We're both ghosts," he said quietly. "Yeah. We are." The moment shattered when someone screamed. The sound came from near the entrance. Guests scattered as 2 men in suits pushed through the crowd, their eyes locked on Kai. One of them pulled out a phone, pointing it at him like a weapon. "Kai Zhang, you're under citizen's arrest for fraud and embezzlement." The rooftop erupted into chaos. Cameras appeared. People recording. The groom shouting. Sienna watching from the sidelines with a smile that said she'd orchestrated this perfectly. Kai stood, his face drained of color. "Mia, go. Please." But she was already on her feet, heart racing, mind spinning with a decision that made no logical sense. "I'm parked 2 blocks away. Silver Honda. We run on 3. His eyes went wide. "What are you doing?" "Something really stupid." 1. "Mia, don't." 2. The men were pushing closer, phones out, recording everything. 3. They ran. The Honda's engine roared to life as Mia peeled out of the parking structure, tires screaming against concrete. Kai gripped the dashboard, breathing hard, looking back through the rear window like he expected the entire wedding party to chase them down. "What the hell are you doing?" he shouted over the sound of traffic. "I don't know." Mia's hands were shaking on the wheel, adrenaline flooding her system. "I literally don't know." She drove without thinking, taking random turns through downtown until the wedding venue disappeared behind them. Finally, she pulled into an empty parking lot behind a closed warehouse, killed the engine, and sat in the sudden silence, her heart trying to break through her ribs. "This is insane," Kai said, but he was almost laughing. "You just helped a criminal escape. Do you understand that? You're not a criminal. You're someone who made a terrible choice for the right reason." That's not how the law works. I don't care about the law right now. They sat there in the dark car, street lights flickering orange through the windshield, both of them breathing too fast. Mia could feel him looking at her, could feel the weight of everything unsaid pressing against her chest. "Why did you do that?" Kai asked quietly. "Because I'm tired of watching people I care about disappear." The confession slipped out before she could stop it. "Because for the first time in 8 months, I felt something other than numb. Because you're the first person who didn't look at me with pity when I mentioned her." Kai reached across the center console and took her hand. His palm was warm, calloused in unexpected places. "We can't go back," he said. "I know. They'll come after you too now. Aiding and abetting or whatever they call it." "I know. Mia." His voice cracked on her name. "I'm going to ruin your life. Maybe I want it ruined." She squeezed his hand tighter. "Maybe I'm tired of playing it safe in a life that already broke me." He leaned closer, and for a second she thought he might kiss her. But instead he pressed his forehead against hers, breathing her in like she was oxygen. "I need to tell you something else," he whispered. "Something worse." Her stomach dropped. "What?" "The money I stole. I didn't just take it from Sienna's family." He pulled back, his eyes dark with guilt. "I took it from your friend too. The one who died. She invested everything she had saved. I have her signature on the contracts. Her family has been trying to get it back, but there's nothing left to give them." The air left Mia's lungs. She yanked her hand away, stumbling out of the car, needing space, needing air, needing this not to be real. The parking lot spun around her. "Mia, please. You knew." Her voice was shaking. "When I told you about her, you already knew. I didn't know she was yours. Not until you said her name." Kai got out of the car, staying on his side, giving her distance. "I've been carrying that guilt for months. Every investor, every person I hurt, they all have faces I can't forget. But I didn't know she was yours until tonight. Get away from me. Mia. You destroyed her family. They're still fighting to keep her little brother in college because of you. Because of what you took." The betrayal cut deeper than anything she'd felt since the funeral. She'd let herself feel something for someone who'd stolen from the person she loved most. "I can fix this," Kai said desperately. "I have one thing left. One asset I've been hiding. I can liquidate it, give it all to her family, make this right." "You can't make this right. Then I'll spend the rest of my life trying." Mia's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, different from the first one. "We know where you are. We know what he did. Turn him in or we turn you both in." She looked at Kai across the hood of her car. At this stranger who'd unraveled everything in one night. At the man who'd stolen from her best friend and then made her feel alive again. "They found us," she said. Headlights appeared at the end of the street, moving slowly toward them. "Run or surrender?" Kai asked. "Your call." Mia looked at the approaching car, at Kai, at the choice that would define everything that came next. "Get in," she said. "Mia. Get in the car. Now." Because maybe she was broken enough to choose him anyway. They drove for 3 hours straight, stopping only for gas at a station where the fluorescent lights made them both look like ghosts. Mia's hands ached from gripping the wheel. Kai sat in silence, staring at his phone, watching notifications pile up. Missed calls from lawyers. Threats from investors. News articles with his face plastered across headlines. Finally, they ended up at a motel off the highway, the kind with peeling paint and rooms that rented by the hour. Mia paid cash. They didn't speak until the door closed behind them. The room smelled like cigarettes and industrial cleaner. One bed, questionable sheets, a bathroom with a flickering light. Mia sat on the edge of the mattress while Kai paced, running his hands through his hair until it stood up in every direction. "This is wrong," he said for the 10th time. "You should hate me. You should have turned me in." "Maybe I should. So why didn't you?" "Because I'm selfish." The admission tasted bitter. "Because hating you won't bring her back. Because I've spent 8 months punishing myself for surviving, and I'm tired of it." Kai stopped pacing, his eyes finding hers in the dim light. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I don't know who I am anymore without her. I'm saying I came to that wedding hoping to feel something, and you made me feel everything." She stood, closing the distance between them. "I'm saying this is probably the worst decision I'll ever make, but I'm making it anyway." "Mia." His voice was wrecked. "I destroyed people. I destroyed her family. How can you even look at me? Because you're not the only one with blood on your hands." The confession ripped out of her. "The argument we had, the reason I wasn't in the car that night? I told her she was wasting her money on your startup. I told her to pull out of the investment. She refused because she believed in you, and I got mad and said she was being naive. That's why I wasn't there. That's why she died alone." The silence that followed felt like drowning. "You blame yourself," Kai whispered. "Every single day." He crossed the space between them in 2 steps, pulling her into his arms. Mia broke. 8 months of holding it together shattered as she sobbed into his chest, and he held her like she was the only thing keeping him anchored to earth. "We're so messed up," she said against his shirt. "Yeah. We are." She pulled back just enough to look at him. His face was wet too, tears tracking down his cheeks that he didn't bother wiping away. "What do we do now?" she asked. "I liquidate the asset. I give everything to her family. Then I turn myself in." "No. Mia. There's another way." She grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. "You said you have one thing left. Something worth enough to pay them back. What is it?" "A patent. Something I developed before everything went wrong. It's worth maybe 2 million if I sell it to the right buyer. Then we sell it. We give the money to her family and everyone else you hurt. And then we disappear. You can't disappear with me. You have a life." "What life?" Her voice broke. "My job at a coffee shop where everyone knows me as the girl who survived. My apartment full of her stuff I can't throw away. I don't have a life, Kai. I have a routine I'm going through until I figure out how to feel human again." He searched her eyes, looking for doubt, for hesitation. "If we do this, there's no going back. They'll never stop looking for me. For us. I know. You'll lose everything. I already did." Kai kissed her then, desperate and broken and real. It tasted like tears and terrible choices and the only thing that made sense in a world that had stopped making sense months ago. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Mia's phone rang. Unknown number. Again. She answered on speaker. "Mia Chen?" A woman's voice, professional, cold. "This is Detective Sarah Park. We know you're with Kai Zhang. We know you helped him escape. You have 12 hours to turn him in, or we're issuing a warrant for your arrest too. How did you get this number? We've been tracking you since you left the venue. We're giving you a chance because you're not a criminal. But that changes in 12 hours. The call ended. Mia looked at Kai, at the choice that was no longer theoretical. 12 hours, she said. Enough time to sell the patent and make this right, Kai said. Then I turn myself in alone. You go home. You tell them I forced you to help me. No. Mia, please. I'm not losing someone else. Her voice was steel. We do this together or not at all. His expression cracked. You're going to sacrifice everything for someone who ruined your friend's life? I'm choosing to live for the first time since she died. Even if that means burning my whole world down. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. They spent the night driving to the buyer, some tech entrepreneur in a city 3 states away who'd been trying to acquire Kai's patent for years. The meeting happened in a glass office building at dawn, both of them exhausted and wired on gas station coffee. The buyer took one look at them and knew something was wrong. But he wanted the patent badly enough not to ask questions. The money transferred in 40 minutes. $2.3 million, minus taxes, minus fees. Enough. Kai split it immediately. Half to Mia's friend's family, with an anonymous note explaining where it came from. The rest divided among the other investors he'd destroyed, every name on his list of sins. By the time they finished, they had 6 hours left. They sat in Mia's car in the parking garage, watching the sun rise through the concrete levels, neither of them speaking. Mia's phone buzzed constantly. Her mom. Her co-workers. The detective. All wondering where she was. I need to tell you something, Kai said finally. Before this ends. Don't. Mia. If you tell me you love me right now, I will lose it. Her voice shook. Because I can't hear that and then watch you walk into a police station. Then I won't say it. He took her hand, threading their fingers together. But you should know that last night was the first time in 6 months I didn't want to disappear. Because of you. Mia's eyes burned. This isn't fair. Nothing about this is fair. They drove to her friend's family home, parking across the street. Through the window, they could see her friend's mom opening mail at the kitchen table. The notification would hit her bank account any minute. Mia watched as the woman's phone lit up. Watched her check it. Watched her face crumple as she started crying, calling for her husband, both of them staring at the screen like it was a miracle. She would have wanted this, Kai said softly. I know. Mia wiped her eyes. She would have forgiven you. That's who she was. What about you? Mia turned to look at him, at this broken man who'd crashed into her life and set everything on fire. I don't know yet. Ask me in a few years. I'll be in prison. Then I'll visit. Mia. I'm serious. She squeezed his hand. You think I'm going to let you disappear after all this? You're stuck with me now. However long it takes. Kai's expression shattered. He pulled her close, holding her like the world was ending, which maybe it was. We have 2 hours, he whispered against her hair. Then let's not waste them. They drove to the ocean, some beach town where nobody knew their names. Walked barefoot in the sand while the waves crashed and the morning turned golden. Kai had ditched his suit jacket somewhere along the way, shirt untucked, sleeves rolled up. Mia's emerald dress was wrinkled and stained, her hair a mess from the wind. They looked like disasters. They looked perfect. Thank you, Kai said as they stood at the water's edge. For not running when you should have. Thank you for making me feel like I could breathe again. When the time came, they drove to the police station together. Mia parked in the visitor lot, engine still running, both of them staring at the building like it was the end of everything. Last chance to change your mind, Kai said. Not a chance. They walked in holding hands. The detective was waiting, flanked by 2 officers, her expression unreadable. Kai stepped forward first. I'm Kai Zhang. I'm here to turn myself in. The detective looked at Mia. And you? I'm the idiot who helped him. Mia lifted her chin. But I'd do it again. You understand you're confessing to aiding a fugitive? I understand that sometimes doing the right thing looks like doing the wrong thing. Mia glanced at Kai, at the man who'd given everything away to fix what he'd broken. He paid back every person he hurt. Every dollar. Check the accounts if you don't believe me. The detective studied them both for a long moment. Then she sighed. The families have been notified. Several have already dropped their charges in light of the restitution. She looked at Kai. You're still looking at fraud charges, but the DA might be willing to negotiate given the circumstances. And you? She turned to Mia. You're free to go. But don't leave town. Mia's hand tightened around Kai's. What happens to him? That's not up to me. They had 5 more minutes before the officers took him away. 5 minutes to say everything and nothing. Kai turned to face her fully, memorizing her face like he was trying to burn it into his brain. Wait for me, he asked. However long it takes. I don't deserve you. Nobody deserves anybody. We just choose each other anyway. He kissed her one last time, soft and desperate and full of promises neither of them knew if they could keep. Then the officers stepped forward, and Mia had to let go. She watched him walk away, disappearing through the doors into whatever came next. Her phone buzzed. A text from a number she recognized now as her friend's mom. Thank you. I don't know who you are, but thank you. Mia stood in the police station lobby, alone again but different than before. Still broken. Still grieving. But breathing. She typed back, she would have wanted him to have a second chance. So I'm giving him one. Then she walked out into the morning sun, got in her car, and drove toward whatever version of her life came next. One where she'd learned that sometimes the worst mistakes led to the most important choices. That guilt and grief could coexist with hope. That 2 broken people could find each other in the wreckage and decide to rebuild anyway. 6 months later, she'd be sitting in a prison visiting room, watching Kai walk through the door in orange scrubs, his face lighting up when he saw her. They'd have 30 minutes to talk through a glass partition. It wouldn't be enough. It would never be enough. But she'd come back the next week, and the week after that, and all the weeks that followed. Because she'd chosen him. Because he'd chosen to make things right. Because love was messy and complicated and sometimes it meant waiting for someone who'd burned their whole world down and was trying to build it back up from ash. And maybe that was enough. The end.